Hi everybody, this is Doll Dazzler and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to do something a little bit different. I usually would be sharing with you one of my dolls for my doll collection, or a gaming video, or I do a whole bunch of different kinds of videos. And so in today's video I am going to be sharing with you one of my antiques. And well, it's not really an antique, it's a vintage collectible. I do also like antiques and vintage jewelry and some other things that I'm going to be doing some videos on those items as well. But today I thought I would share with you this vintage music box. And just a little bit about the story behind this. When I lived in Colorado, there is a fantastic antique store there, and it's really large antique store, and that's where I would buy most of my vintage dolls. They had probably the most dolls in one area to look through that I had ever been in. So I would go there a lot of times just to pick out a doll or some vintage doll clothing. And there was one day when I went there and I couldn't find a doll, and it was kind of a sad day for me, because I was walking through the store and I would always find at least one doll to buy, and so I was kind of bummed out. And so I started to walk through the front part of the antique store, and that's where they would keep most of their vintage jewelry and more expensive like dolls and items of that nature in locked cabinets. And so I walked by this one cabinet, and inside of there was this music box, and he had a whole bunch of things in there. And so I was just kind of looking at it, and when I spotted this I was like, wow, it's really a cool item. I don't and have not collected something like this because I'm a little bit clumsy. And so even with my dolls, I have to be very careful because I am clumsy. And then I wouldn't normally look to purchase a music box because a lot of times the music box, the actual mechanism inside, no longer works. So I could tell that this was a vintage item just because of the wear and tear and how it was designed. But so I was kind of interested in it, and it does have quite a bit of wear on the back, but I still wasn't giving up on finding a doll that day. So I kept it in mind, and I just started looking around the store again, and it was getting closer to time for them to close, and I was like, I'm not gonna find a doll. But I had kept this in my mind, and I was like, you know what, that music box actually really is cool. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have them open the case, and so I can see if it still works, and kind of assess it and see if I wanted to buy it. Well, when I got back to the actual case, the vendor for the booth was there, and I had asked him if I could see it, and he pulled it out for me, and I asked him if it still worked, and he encouraged me to go ahead and you know, wind it up and everything. And I didn't feel comfortable, so I had him do it. I didn't want to do that before I had actually purchased it. And it did work, and it was really cool because the couple inside of here, I'll bring it a little bit closer. The couple, they spin around and they dance, and so it was really cool. And so I said, well, how much do you want for it? And he said, oh, $30. And I said, oh, that's cool, but would you take 25? And so he actually took $25. And I thought, you know, I couldn't have that was actually a really good price, because even if it was from the 80s, it's still very cool. It is a collectible. I could tell that it would eventually, I don't know if it'd be like really valuable, but I could tell just by sight that it was vintage and would quite possibly be worth something one day. I do have pretty good eye for spotting certain things, especially with dolls, but in other antiques, I'd like to be able to utilize my phone when I'm there and look at the item online. But I didn't have the internet access at that time, so I really kind of blindly bought this. So on the way home, I was winding it up, and I couldn't wait to get to the house to actually look it up online. And when I got home, I quickly looked it up on eBay just to get kind of like a base price for what this could be. And I didn't even know what to look it up under, except for this one word, Cody, Musical Creations, that's on the back here. And so that's like that's the company that would have made this box. And to my surprise, this little box, I right away started having huge respect for it, because it is actually, I made $100 by spending 30 that day. If I was to turn around and sell this, because it's in the condition that it is, there's nothing the matter with this box. These are actually, the plastic on it, I would think would be, not that very sturdy. And so, it being a music box and everything, I was like, well, I don't know, how it would have survived. But yeah, by purchasing this for $30 that day, I made $100, because these are actually very collectible, and you can get them. I guess there's some that have just a ballerina inside, or they even have ornate ones that have like it's like a bird cage with birds that chirp. And I was not even aware that these kinds of things even existed until I got this. And so now I have more of an eye for like a music box type of situation when I go to an antique store. So this is very cool. It does still work. And what I'm going to do is, so that you guys can see, it plays dark eyes, and so that you guys can see how it works and hear it. I'm going to end the video with the music box going. I have already wound it, and then there's this little thing on the back that's kind of cool. It's this little lever, and I really hated to push it, but I wanted to have it already wound and everything for the video. But when you push this across back this way, it allows the music mechanism to start playing. So I've already got it wound. And if anybody out there has a music box that they would be willing to share a picture of, or a video, and one that might be like this, or even a different one, even the ones that have the little birds that chirp inside, I would love to see this, because I love antiques. I wish I could collect them like I did in Colorado, but I just don't have the space anymore for that. So the antiques that were larger antiques that I had to part with before I moved here, but so I will be sharing with you guys some of the smaller items that I still do have. But if anybody out there has a Cody music box, or even just an older music box that they would be willing to share a picture or video of, please leave it in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.